Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday morning mastermind call on daily refinement. Update for everybody. My podcast studio is being set up this week. And then pretty excited because I can do lives from it and also I can record a podcast from it. Should be pretty fun. Had to research how to make it OSHA compliant. That was fun. Um, and one of my workers crashed a forklift, of course. So he's safe, but I need to adjust some safety stuff. Um, at the warehouse because somebody could be on their phone or not paying attention, or I don't know what happened to him, but didn't work out. Okay, so this morning, the conversation is going to be about how to double your money as a reseller in 2024. I'm going to address something I don't talk about on my channel a lot, but a lot of people have been asking this, and I've seen many examples of it. And my most recent video about Amazon pallets was very popular. I don't know if that's because people are curious about what are in Amazon pallets, what are returns like. Um, and of course, I would say that out of 24,000 items in the Amazon pallet, less than 100 were $20 profit, right? So that's the question of like, but you said it has to be $20 profit. What are you doing, right? So here's the question. Let me see how much I paid for it. So that pallet, it cost, or the truck of stuff from Amazon cost $16,800 to receive. And it's sold for roughly 48,000, which is interesting because it did sell for 3 times what I paid for it, but I did not double my money. So I would say that I made about $300 every $700 I invested. Okay, which is not doubling your money. It's not quite even 50% on your money, right? This would be like basically investing $1 and getting like 30 cents back, which is definitely not enough to buy another item. You know how we were talking about the safest way to resell is to buy one item for $1 and get back $3. So then you can buy 2 items that are $1 and have $1 in your bank account. Everyone is aware of this, right? Now, the thing that is interesting is that the frequency is higher on Amazon pallet. You could sell items faster versus buying an item for 20, trying to sell for 50 plus. Maybe you're waiting 2 months, 3 months. I sold all the pallets except for one in 9 days, right? So if we follow that trajectory, right, 3 times in 1 month, I would have been able to flip my inventory with the process that I have. So I would have turned that $700 investment. Instead of getting 300 back once, I could get 300 back 3 times. Okay, which is essentially making 1,000 on my $700 investment, which is doubling my money plus some in the bank account. But I'd have to do that 3 times, right? So this is where the conundrum happens with resellers is you run out of time. People don't have more time. They never have more time. They have the same amount of time. So the only thing you can do is either you can add leverage, which means like you can borrow money to buy more items, right? You could do that. You could also hire somebody, which is uh, leveraging somebody else's time. So somebody else's money, the credit card company's money, plus somebody else's time, you hire somebody. Plus, there's like in our world today, you can do 2 other methods, which is you could start a YouTube channel. So Melanie could be like Melanie's Adventures. She can make a YouTube video. You could get 700 views, and it would be unlikely that with 700 views, not, I mean, one of those people is going to want to buy one of the things in the video that she shows. 700 views is a lot on any eBay listing. If you have 700 views, it's going to sell. That's why if you're wearing a t-shirt in a YouTube video, that literally is $1 million business for some people. I was listening to this one YouTuber, and he was saying that when they launch their t-shirts, they make $1 million a minute for about 16 minutes, and then it's sold out. Like, and that's from them wearing t-shirts in the video and millions of people seeing that t-shirt, and then they want it. So you can do borrow somebody else's money. You could hire somebody else to list for you. You can make YouTube videos, which is called content, right? If that's advertising. And the fourth way is you could have code or artificial intelligence or something help you. That is the new flavor of the week. People are like, hey, if you use the AI to write your titles, price it for you and write the description and use this listing tool and it'll post it on 10 platforms for you and delist it on 9. That is trying to use code or technology to speed up the listing part, right? So Jamie is saying if it takes 700 views, it sounds like a bad item to sell. Here's another thing that's interesting. You could wear a t-shirt on a video, right? And I had a Make Progress Daily t-shirt. The first time I wore it, I sold, I think, 50 shirts. I never wore it again. I just, not because I didn't want to sell merch. I wasn't thinking about that as a strategy for me making money. But when I wear this Old Navy shirt, nobody wants it. And I think 100,000 people or more have seen me wear this shirt on one of my videos, and no one said, "Hey, where'd you get that red plain shirt?" Nobody cares. So it's a bad item to sell. Even if I optimized the title and I had AI, if I had Chat GPT 4 write the title and I said, please write a title to sell this Old Navy shirt, it wouldn't, like, without jeopardizing me getting a return, it would just say Old Navy shirt, men's large, maroon, red, short sleeve, maybe. If you can't, you know what I mean? It's hard to sell this shirt for more than zero, like one. In my opinion, people in this group would have difficulty, including me, selling this shirt for $1 plus shipping. It's just not a desirable item. So no matter what kind of fancy tricks you use, your regular items can't sell for a lot. Go ahead, Carrie. Good morning.
Good morning. What are your thoughts about like cross posting to all the platforms if you have a really good handle on eBay already?
If
Or
you're
does it
already,
matter?
I think the cross listing should be something you do on top of an existing successful company. I think the problem, and this is where I get misinterpreted. I'm not saying that if if you cross list, you won't receive more exposure. I think people are confused that if you're on the same item is on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, you will, if you add up all the traffic, it'll be more than one platform. The problem is you'll have to remove the item from two platforms if it sells and you only have one. This is the reason. So Jamie in the chat says Commonwealth Picker has cool shirts on by design. If you look at Commonwealth Picker's videos, he has keychains, hats, mugs, t-shirts, everything strategically placed in his shed, right? And he doesn't have just one because that would be silly to do that much work to just sell one t-shirt. He has many made, many sizes, right? So if you're going to cross post on, right now I have items cross posted on multiple platforms, but I have many of them. So it sells, I just update the quantity. It sells, I only have to delist it after I've sold all of them. That makes sense to me. If you're going to do that much work to list three times worth of work, even if you use software, you still have to learn how to use the software. You still have to pay for the software. You still have to optimize it. And I don't think people have, even if it took twice as long to list on five platforms, you could just list two items instead. That's my original thought. Now, there are some people that say, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough resources to get more than one. I can't list two items. I can only list one item. And in that scenario, I still wouldn't spend my time cross listing because you need time to look for good items. Because if instead of cross listing 10 items a week, if you found a new supplier, you make another 10,000 a week. I'm sorry, another 10,000 a year. Every supplier you meet, you make 10,000 a year. I'd rather make $10,000 than cross list to make $4 or $10 or $20. So Lauren says she likes the idea of once you know the rules, you're allowed to break them. Now, here's the thing, it depends on what your definition is because there's a third element. So I want you to double your money, put money in the bank. And the third one is I want you to know how long your time frame is for making your money. And for me, it's I want to double my money in 90 days. So the Amazon palette is actually within my wheelhouse of what I'm trying to do ultimately, which is multiply my money. Most people cannot sell a truckload of stuff in 2 weeks. Their process isn't set up like that, right? So if you can think about, as Lauren is saying in the chat, why are you picking this type of model? So for me, I think everyone probably has the same goal. make as much money as you can with the amount of money that you have, right? Yesterday, somebody presented me with some Nike sneakers. I'm not going to buy these, but they're $191,000. I sent it to Isaiah to look at. Isaiah was saying you would get all your money back within 9 months. And then after that, it would take you up to 3 years to sell these Nikes. So we estimated it costs 191. You would sell them for about 500,000 over the course of 3 years, right? And then you get to back all that out. And the interesting thing was it was only 7 different kinds of sneakers, right? So Melanie, even if she didn't know anything about these sneakers, in one day she could definitely research all 7 styles. The Nike shoes come with a code, right? So you could type in the code, find out everything about the sneaker, perfect listing, and it's only 7 SKUs. This would not require delisting, relisting. It doesn't, because there's only, like, if you were to sell 1 or 2 of them out of the 50 or 100 per SKU, you would rank number one, because eBay ranks numbers sold the highest. If you guys ever searched on eBay and the first thing that pops up is 29 sold, 39 sold, those listings can be 5 years old, 6 years old. They still rank number one. So this would be one of those scenarios where Melanie could list 7 items and wait 3 years to get 500,000 on 191,000 investment. And it would take her, she'd probably make 75 to 100,000, which is quite low, right? For investing 191,000, you wouldn't want to make 75,000 on that type of investment normally. But the amount of work of her putting up listings in one day and then not doing anything for 3 years except for ship, that's something you have to consider, your time, right? So if Melanie already had a 6-figure job, or she was already doing fine and she just wanted extra money and very, very little work, and she wanted an eBay store, she could do $170,000 a year in her eBay store just shipping, right? Those kind of opportunities exist. You don't have to sell a whole bunch of items for $5 profit. You could, every single one of these shoes is $20 profit or more, because the average cost was 70 per shoe and the average sold on eBay was 140. So we're talking about minimum $20 profit, $20 to $50 profit per pair. So you could accept an offer $30 lower. And Isaiah was asking me, like, do you want to buy this? And I'm like, no, because I don't, 7 SKUs, it sounds scary to me. That's so narrow. If it was like 200 different SKUs, I might do it, because it seems like it wouldn't take 3 years to sell. Having the same SKU means it takes forever. You have to wait until you have the last one if you're trying to get full price. Go ahead, Jamie. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today, Chris?
Amazing.
I've had laryngitis for the last few days, so I'll make it quick. I wouldn't do that, because if you're talking 3 years, you're talking at least $25,000 to store it each year in a warehouse.
Yep.
There's a lot. Yeah, I wouldn't. That's a bad deal. I wouldn't offer 100. If they do it, I'd do it. Offer them 100,000. If you send me the information, I might offer them 100 grand.
Yep.
Yeah, send me the info.
um, Now, I asked this person, who is your normal customer? This is probably one of the best sourcing questions you can ask. Is, who is your normal customer? So he told me his normal customer is a brick and mortar, and they charge full price for the shoe. You wouldn't get full price for the shoe on eBay. So it depends, right? Brick and mortars can pay more. So if he can't sell it to brick and mortars, then he'll sell it to eBay sellers. But here's the thing. Like, let's say one of the examples is a Charles Barkley shoe, sells on eBay for 140 on average. The cost is 70. So this is like something that, like, Vince sells shoes. Would he spend 70 to sell for 140 within 3 years? It's not a good margin. It's a good profit per piece, but like, in my opinion, it's better than the stock market, but it's also risky. It's so interesting thinking about the physical goods and what Jamie said, the unforeseen cost of storage. How much are you paying to store the shoes all year? And this is exactly one truck of shoes, right? So you would need 400 square feet to store the shoes if they were on pallets. But if you took them off of pallets, I mean, we're talking 1,000 square feet probably. But it's just so interesting that yes, the items could go out of style, which is in this scenario with Nike is not necessarily that risky. But I would say the bigger risk is the shoes being damaged. Shoes don't like sitting not being worn for seven or several years, and the climate of where you live matters so much. But for some people, it's a home run deal, no brainer. Other people, it's a no, thank you. So you guys depend. Do you want to buy something that you're going to sell in 9 days for 30% profit, or double your money over the course of several years? In my opinion, I wouldn't buy this. I wouldn't want to double my money over that course of the time. So like um, Jamie's scenario where you offer 100. So here's the sample. You offer 100, and now instead of making 75,000 over 3 years, you make 160,000 over 3 years. So spend 100 and you make 160 over 3 years, which is interesting because let's say Melanie did that, then she would essentially be making $50,000 a year for shipping around 10 items a day and no listing, right? That's interesting. 3 years is long enough for someone to buy the pair of shoes, wear it out, and then buy another pair for Melanie because she's the only one that has them. Um, that's another concept of like the items that if you sell hair products, right? And people run out of shampoo and they like your shampoo, they'll reorder again in 6 months. But that doesn't happen selling used items very often. Go ahead, Jamie.
Um, what my question goes, my next, like, if you buy that many Nike shoes with just 7 SKUs, would you be in any danger of like getting hit by Nike with a Vero? And then on the other end, would you be in danger of getting hit by eBay for having a legitimate receipt for all those shoes?
Yeah, this one has an invoice from a supplier, a known supplier. So it wouldn't this person has a brick and mortar in San Francisco. So you wouldn't be at risk of losing your account, in my opinion. You'd probably be at risk of having your listing removed if eBay was wondering the authenticity. But I don't know if it would, like with a proper invoice, you're probably fine for not losing your account, but you might get stopped from selling that many of one SKU. And I was telling him that it doesn't work on live auction because there's not enough variety. I would lose money after the first few pairs with only 7 SKUs. It might take even longer than 3 years to sell on live stream because I can only do a few pairs a day. Um, so I was researching laryngitis, Jamie, because I get laryngitis a couple times a year. It's either from stress, talking too much, not getting enough sleep. You can overuse your voice, but one thing that really makes it harder for you to get better is clearing your voice. Like that actually strains your vocal cords a lot. I did not know that. So there's like instead of clearing your throat, you want to just take several sips of water. Anyway, it makes sense for me since I'm talking on YouTube and doing this call and at work. Um, so doubling your money plus some. The question is always in what time frame. So what do you guys think? What is your time frame that you want to double your money?
I get nervous when things are over 6 months old. I don't like it sitting in my store.
90 days for Larry, 6 months for Melanie. Let's see.
The 90 days is tough though, because you have to have good items priced right.
Um, 6 months for Danny. 90 days for average items, 6 months for higher end items. Now, I guess I'm going to institute my rule here for one more thought for people, which is if you want to double your money within 90 days, right? So let's say Vince is selling some sneakers, he buys for 10 and he wants to double his money and he thinks these are pretty quick. So he decides to go for $30 plus shipping, buy for 10, sell for 30 plus shipping, trying to make a $10 profit. But let's say Vince finds a really cool pair of boots, but then the average sale price is 100, right? Using my methodology, you could actually wait because if you sells for 100 and you get, let's say 80 bucks, you get a $70 profit. So you use 7 times your money. Does that mean it's worth it for Vince to wait 21 months or almost 2 years to sell it? Because he actually 7x's his money. So should he just wait that whole time? Does it make sense to cheap sell that item? Or should he just wait and give it the proper marination on the website?
I think that depends on what your current situation is.
Hmm.
If you're struggling to build your business and you have cash flow issues, selling it quickly is the ideal thing. If you've got 20,000 items in your store and you don't need the money right this minute, then waiting is okay. I think it just all depends on your current situation.
Okay. Now, Russell, this is such a good point. Because more and more and more, because of how insanely expensive it is to live right now, there's more and more people who have $5,000 to $10,000 a month in bills, and they're only making $2,000 a month or $1,000 a month, or they have $4,000 in bills, but they're only making $500 a month, and they're essentially going backwards. And in that situation, right, it's very different than if you have 1 years of savings and you're making 8,000 a month and your bills are 3,000 a month. That person's going to operate a lot differently, right? The person that's buying $200,000 worth of shoes and waiting 3 years to make 75, that person is very, very different, right? Because it's like totally different purpose and why and when you need the money. I think that though it's safe to say that regardless of what position you are in your reselling career, sourcing is definitely the most important part. Carolyn says one major drawback of multi-variation listings is you lose the ability to have best offer. I agree. I have that on Poshmark right now. I have a listing that I put up a couple days ago that sold a few times for multi-variation, but people can't make an offer. They can, but not on a specific size, right? And I would accept a lower offer for a worse size. Harry says 9 months allows everything to be in season at one point. I think you should actually aim for 12 months if your items are seasonal because you want to make it through that full season. Jamie has a 7x return on his magazines. Yeah, I think the name of the game is recurring because I just thought about if you're a fashion seller, it does work for people wearing out their clothes and coming back and buying from you. Last month, I had 29,000 unique customers and 8,500 repeat customers. So that's a lot of repeat customers that bought something and now they want something more interesting, or they're back again for something different. So Jessica is asking, and a bunch of people asked this, didn't Lindy Glenn have the same model with the Amazon pallets? I don't know. Is Lindy Glenn still running a bin store? Do you guys know? I'm not aware. She's not. I personally do not like the bin store model because you go $10, $7, $5, $3, $1, last day, everything 50 cents. I don't know if you are adding any value to the item, if that makes sense. For me, since I bundle every Amazon return together, in 9 days I sold through the entire amount. There are no, actually have one pallet of Amazon returns at my place still. I'm not sure what to do with it, but the other ones I sold right away. And I feel like I can add value by bundling. So Jessica, as an example, hopefully this makes sense. I could get a nail clipper, a compact mirror, a toenail scrubber, a nose clipper, and something else together and put it in a bundle, right? And I was averaging about $3 to $5 per item doing it that way. And the items cost under $1 on average. They cost about 70 cents. So what happens is you can get $3 to $5 for a normal item, and other items you don't get anything. But I don't know if you guys watched my video, but I said I'm not in the storage business, and I definitely don't want to store $3 items. Right? So if nobody wants it, they're getting it for free. I'm not putting it back in the pile. There's no way I'm putting it back in the pile. A nail clipper that's been opened, bro, that is not something you store. My customer can have that for free. Thank you for shopping here. The people that bought my Amazon pallet stuff, most of them got 2, 3, 5, 10 things for free because like you want this penguin penguin shaped sponge for your sink. You actually want this. Okay, cool. Because you're gonna take that, then we'll give you a whole bunch of these exercise bands for free. Like it's just it's an interesting model because the margins are so high on when you do sell something for $20 that you paid for 70 cents for, you can afford to give them a few free items. The thing is with the Amazon bin store, it's very labor intensive to open up a truck and sort it. Actually, you know what? I guess maybe they don't sort it. With the Amazon trucks, maybe they just back the truck up, they put the pallets in, cut them so they're low and people can reach in them, and then they just let people free for all. I also wonder about how much theft there is. Like, can you just put something in your pocket? I don't know how they stop. How do you stop that?
They also must throw away a ton of stuff at the end.
Yeah, let's
Because
put
I
a lot
mean,
of stuff.
I've gone to a few of those and it's just it's mayhem by the last day as far as just garbage in the bottom.
I've never been to one, so I don't know what they look like. There are none in my area. There are no pawn shops in my area, and there are no bin stores in my area. Um, oh, Lauren says police on site always. I really do think you need somebody there with a gun. I don't know how else you could prevent like shoplifting by just like because the thing is that's interesting about Amazon pallets is you could find a ring as an example, right? A ring thermostat or something that's valuable, and that's going in somebody's pocket. Lauren says her bin store switched to online auctions. I think it makes a lot more sense. Jamie says repeat business was at 2%, now to 12%. That's fantastic. My repeat business is like 25%. All the high-end stuff goes in day 1 or 2.
I had a conversation with a guy at a shop that opened up here recently. He said they basically will pull the higher end stuff out, sprinkle it out amongst all the different bins that they set up, so that the people that so they don't have to dig nearly as hard, but it encourages people to get in there fast and spread out. And so they're encouraging the folks that are on day one. There's even people that camp out at these things because they're pulling in $100 items for $20. But then by noon or so, all that stuff's gone. But you had to camp out either the night before or for 6 hours or whatever to be in that first 4 hour window.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that so do you guys think that it's the classic reseller model with the bin store? Essentially, you sell all your good items for too cheap and you store too much of the bad items. Because like buying a Nest thermostat for $10 is a deal, and that seller did not sell that for enough money. That's why I feel like people didn't understand the point of my video. So I need to work on my communication. When I was selling the Amazon pallets, I said as an eBay seller, what I would do is I would look through all the pallets, pick the items that are worth my time, and probably donate the rest if I was an eBay seller. And people said all kinds of crazy messages like, no, I would sell every single item. I'm like, okay, you have a listing habit of 5 a day. For you to list all of it would take 13 and a half years. That's a long, it seems like too long, right? I don't know if you would like, that's not, you're gonna list all of it. I don't know. Even if you listed 10 a day, it would be 6.5 years. It's a long time. Lawrence says, now they liquidated to 50 cents on the last day. That's a good question. How can you get more repeat customers? Dennis, this is a great question. The way to get repeat customers is consistent items, consistent service. So I'll give you an example of how I lost a repeat customer. I've been selling these Slipknot jerseys on Poshmark. First time the guy bought one, I shipped the same day. The second time I got one, I shipped in 3 days, and he left me a 1-star feedback and said, took the time to write me an email and said, I will never buy from you again. Okay. And the reason is because he was drop shipping. So the items that he bought from me, he was drop shipping to somebody else. So like the first time his customer got it right away. The second time he had to wait 3 days, and it made him look bad. Right. So I lost that repeat customer because I didn't ship same day. And he needs me to ship same day. Now, if he had put in the message, I need this to ship same day, maybe I would have been more, but he didn't let me know he was a drop shipper, because usually you don't tell people you're a drop shipper, right? Repeat business just comes from consistent service, like how fast you ship and having a good supply. So if you're selling Mercedes-Benz parts, the way to get repeat customers would be to be known as the person with rare, hard to find Mercedes parts or a big selection. I would partner with a dealership if I was going to sell car parts. No, there's like the idea of going to pick and pull and finding rare parts. That's not my model of doing auto parts. I would be the list 100,000 auto parts guy. But if you want to get down and dirty and just find the great stuff, there will not be very many repeat customers because you're finding rare stuff. Scarcity mindset means they need to squeeze all the money out and don't lose their time appropriately. Yeah, it's true. Let's see. Let's see. I wonder how long she ran the bins business. I thought that was gonna go. I thought that went well for her because she has like an audience and she could bring a lot of people potentially. But the Amazon bins model, I feel like you're not adding value. So
She had a problem with her lease, and other people opened up the same kind of store in her area, and people were stealing and stuff. But the main thing pushed her over the edge was the lease issue.
man, that is such a and I imagine there's so much complication with that. There's the lease, there's parking, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
new
Staffing.
owners, new owners came through and really screwed her, and she paid it all, but then it still messed her up.
That's crazy. So Harry says the added value of bin store is providing availability. It's also entertainment, being able to go and hunt, treasure hunt. Um, but they don't add the value to the item. They add the value with the building and the parking and how easy it is to pay. Let's see. So Dennis, I think like trying to think of repeat business because a lot of people here have small stores and won't get repeat business. I guess just if I'm in the old Mercedes parts category, I feel like old Mercedes, they definitely need parts and they're known for not being the most reliable. But I think it's hard. The only thing I can think of is that maybe they contact you, they're looking for a part, but that becomes more a time thing. Like you have to have enough time to then go and find it. Lauren says 50,000 things you don't need at your fingertips ready to go. So this is shocking to me. The Amazon returns that came in, I think I sold around easily $5,000 worth of stuff to my staff. Okay, so like my nighttime lady was like, I need this avocado towel. I need all these sponges. I didn't even know I needed this stuff till I was looking through it, right? And one lady filled up her entire trunk, just like all, and I'm like, are you sure you need any of this stuff? Because like you didn't even know you needed it till you're looking through the stuff, right? So maybe that's how the bin store model works. You go there and a normal person, picks up all the things they might need at their house, pot holder, a whole bunch of stuff that was $17.99 prime. That's $1 to $4 at the bin store. You fill up your cart and go. So one thing I want to share with you guys right now, I think it's an unusual time. It's the best and the worst time to be a reseller ever. It's the best time to be a reseller currently because right now there's so many different options that it's really easy for people to get distracted. This morning I was talking to my trainer and I was like, he's from France. Do you think the opportunities in Europe are less than they are in the US? And he said, kind of, but now with the internet, it's kind of leveled the playing field. A lot of my friends in France are just staying in France because they have the internet. They can do e-commerce, they can order stuff, you can kind of live in the country. So it made me think that my initial thought was if I had to start over again, I would move to a city, right? Because a city has all the good stuff. But now I wonder if I would move. Who here thinks they live in a place with a low standard of living, a low cost of living? I wonder what it would be like to move somewhere. Like Catherine, what does a 3-bedroom house cost where you live?
Well, like our house is a 3-bedroom, and if we sold it, we'd probably get $350 for it. And it's
Oh
a
my
mid-mod
gosh.
house on a double lot.
Okay. So what's that? What's a mortgage for a 350 house? Like 1,200 a month?
Yeah, 1,100 something. Yeah, roughly 1,200.
Okay. So I was just thinking, so let's say 1,200, and then can I ask roughly what your monthly bills are? It's just you and your husband?
Yeah.
What do you spend each month?
So, well, our mortgage, and then we have 400 $490 payment for our lake cabin.
Okay.
And then and we got that really cheap because lake property goes pretty high around here. So we got lucky with that. And then we have TV stuff. That's 65 a month. Like
So it's like
Hulu and
you
all
think you
the
and your
channels.
husband spend 4,000 a month or less?
No, I'd say 4,000
Definitely that lifestyle where I live is more than 10,000.
a month.
Yeah,
How
for
many
sure.
bedrooms is your house?
It's 2 and 1.
And then It's 2 and 1. What does that mean?
2 bedroom, 1 bath.
Oh, okay.
The mortgage is 6,000.
So we have 3 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and a double lot. And it's, yeah, we'd probably get 350. You can give,
So- Go ahead.
go ahead.
Okay, let me back up. What would you guys rather live where I live, where there's 200 thrift stores, and like if you don't find Patagonia, then that means you went with your eyes closed? Or would you rather live somewhere where you go, you have to drive 3 hours, but your overhead is not that high? Because like $4,000 a month is $133 a day. That's 6 items, right? Between my wife and I, we could find 6 items a day. Right.
Oh,
If we had
where you are, you could find that in half an hour.
I know, but then also it costs triple as much to live. So it's
Right.
like a different um
Well,
when
I've lived in California. I lived in Oakland.
yeah.
I would live here hands down.
Yeah, that's my new thought.
And that's because the housing is low. There's
I think what I
Minnesota
would
kind of
do, I think
nice.
what I would do if I had to start over is I would either move to a city because cities have 24-hour everything. So what I would do is I would work in a coffee shop overnight and I would sleep in my storage unit during the day. If I had to start completely over, like trying to make it, because like it's so much easier to run an eBay store if you have 1,000 good items in your store. So much easier. Like every day, like you're gonna sell 10 items that are good every day, right? It's so hard when you have 70 items or 100 items that are okay. Maybe you have a 2,000 item store, but you only have 70 or 100 good items, right?
Right.
It's so hard. I don't want to be like I can live in my car until my store makes some money and I can get an apartment. I don't want to like to struggle in all areas of my life. Because like if I
No,
could just go ahead.
and it felt so good to get rid of so many items out of my store when I redid my inventory and stuff. I got rid of almost half of my items. And so now not only do I have better items in my store, but I have a better way to find the items. I haven't misplaced, lost anything. And it's such a relief to know that that item will be in that bin with that exact number on it. That was a great improvement on my business.
Labeling everything by where it is.
Yeah, and I do it just
Yeah.
slightly different than you. I don't move the items from a box to a box or a bin to a bin. I just move the items in a bin forward. The bins are numbered. So my SKU is the bin number and then the item number. And I just move the items forward in the bin and put the newest behind.
Yeah. That's a very good improvement.
Yeah. Because I don't like moving items from a box to a box, switching everything over.
Same, Catherine. I do it the same way.
That seemed time consuming.
And heavy.
Yeah. Take a bin that's not, that's almost empty or that is empty, and I just start filling it up again.
I think organization is probably the thing that would make people the most money, but it seems like it doesn't. Good morning. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. I didn't say anything yet. Okay, let me show you guys this organization thing. So this is my receiving door and my delivery pickup door. So I'm gonna show you. Can I zoom on this? Okay. So over here, I don't know if you guys can see this. I have these markings on the floor where these bins go for the post office to pick up. So if this can fit 8, the truck can fit 8. So there's 8 spaces here for the post office to pick up. So this path right here in between these 2 dotted lines is my input. So if I have deliveries that come in, stuff that goes right through the middle and gets stored in the back. And then right here with these dotted lines is where the empty ones are stored. So once I did this on Monday, and see like these pallets right here in the wrong place. They should have gone into the storage area. But this having this space open like was such a big improvement. And now people know where to put everything, except for I need to draw more lines and label. And then I drew this picture because yesterday I had all my shipping stations reset to what I want to do, which is tape, small bag, medium bag, large bag, and the boxes we use below. And I was telling the lady, she asked me, where did the big boxes go? And I drew an arrow right here. So big box, little box, small, medium, large, tape. All those shipping stations look the same. And I found out that I need dunnage on top of the desk for them because sometimes they want to put bubble wrap or craft paper to the item. So I'm going to add that in there.
So it seems like you're reorganizing every week. You're changing something.
I am. I'm adjusting. So like as an example, the pathway in this delivery door, right, used to be in the center, but now it's off to one side because it gives people more room over here to ship. So essentially, okay, this analogy really helped me a lot, Catherine. It was a reselling business is just a river of items that end at your customer. Okay. So all this stuff that you have, it's just wiggling around in this river and it's going towards the customer is the final destination. That's where it's going, right? And everything that you do to adjust it to make it flow smoother to the customer, you make more money. So all these things that I'm doing, things are finishing earlier. People are coming. There's less stuff. There's nothing on the floor. And yes, everyone was right. The bathroom is dirty because there's water that splashes from the sink. I know that. I just don't know how. I'm trying to figure out how to fix that. But like the other part, and it's so frustrating to me that the paper towel dispenser. I put an arrow that says pull down on the button, right? And the button wore out because people's hands are wet. So when they touch the pulling down thing, the arrow wore off already after being there for 3 weeks. And then yesterday the arrow had worn completely off and it broke because people kept pushing up on it. So like it's just crazy. Like everything has to be so obvious or people might do the wrong thing. That's why I think people's resale shops are not working because it's not obvious how to do it. It's not obvious. So you end up doing the wrong thing. It's not like Becky wakes up in the morning and it's like, walk to the left and you'll be successful, and walk to the right and your life will be a miserable failure. It's not that obvious. Like, okay, well, I'll just step to the left over here. You don't even notice. You're like, you walk straight a little bit to the right and you end up not doing your listing goal. It's like such a repeatable thing when it's in order and one thing is off order and it doesn't work. It just that's why it's so weird talking. Like it sounds like we're making big changes, but we're not. I'm adjusting something a little bit to the left. Yesterday I told here, I'll go back to the picture. There's a piece of paper right here, or I'm sorry, a label on the ground. You're not supposed to spend money on lien. So I have this piece of paper, this 4x6 label right here, right? For where this cage goes, right? And I'm like, it will really bother me if it's not right here because it will require one more step. So this is the shipping table, right? You see how there's a cage right here to the right and one here to the right. There's two shipping tables. It's so the worker doesn't have to move at all. And they're both labeled with this white piece of paper or white label. And I'm like, I don't want to like threaten you guys, but if it's not here, you're fired. I can't, because the extra with 1,000 shipments, 1,000 extra steps is like my bank account draining. You're not allowed to move these things out of the way. Like you're allowed to go home early, but you're not allowed to do your job slowly. So this is the part I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it bad to do it efficiently? Because I feel like doesn't taking longer to do the same thing reduce the chances of you being able to do it? I'm pretty excited because Brandon's gonna visit me on Friday, and I really want to see like if I can efficiently make a thrift run and just see how much different it is. I don't know. I just think
Did you
it's different.
say, I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead, go ahead, Becky.
did you say that the longer it takes you to do something, the less likely it is that you would get it done? Is that what
Yeah,
you said?
that's what I think.
I think that is absolutely true. And also, if it takes too much time, there's too much opportunity to get distracted as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's
Yeah,
like people say that I'm trying to do things quickly. I'm not trying to do things quickly. I'm trying to make sure I do it.
right, exactly.
So it's like not like one way of doing it is making sure I'm not distracted during doing it, and then I can do something else. Yesterday, one of my workers kind of blew my mind because I have been trying to figure out how to get rid of gout for 2 months now, right, in my wrist. And she's like, "Oh, why do you think you have it?" It was like, I think it's caused by stress, even though like I feel like I have a relatively good relationship with stress. I think that this is not going away until my warehouse is going to be set up properly because I just moved in here May 1st. It's not set up properly, so I have a little bit of risk. And she was like, "What is it that you have to worry about all day?" And I was like, "Are you serious? How? What do you worry about all day? You work one job, you have no kids, you're single, you rent a room."
Who asked you that?
One of my workers. And I was just like, are you living like me? I was just like shocked. I'm like, do people not know like that there's a lot to it? But maybe she's right. What is there to really worry about?
But they don't know because you're efficient. They know exactly what they need to do, so there's nothing that they have to come to you for or ask you about or struggle with.
It was so crazy. I'm like, I feel like um um I'm an appropriate level of anxious.
That
But
means that girl has no idea what it's like to hold something as big as you're holding, manage everything that you're managing on
yeah,
top of your own
just like
personal life, which consists of a whole family and a wife and
and
kids.
then she was talking about a Vegas trip. This is just classic. I love it. She was like, "Is it worth it to visit my? There's this Vegas trip, and it's this Saturday. Should I go?" And I'm like, "How much is it?" She's like, "It's like $500. It's $350 for the flight, whatever." And I'm like, "Isn't the ticket to Vegas like under $100? It's like you can even drive there. It's not that far from here. It's maybe like a 12-hour drive, or you could fly for definitely under $100, especially right now." But she's like, "Oh no, it's 350 because it's this weekend, right? And then everything is really expensive because it's last minute." And for me, I would be like, "I'm not going to go. If it's stressful financially, I will just not go because it's like that's a lot. You're paying like quadruple the price to go this weekend, right? If you booked it a little bit earlier, it'd be a little bit cheaper." Jamie's saying he went to Vegas for 163. I don't want to pay 350 to go 12 miles or 12 hours driving last minute and pay quadruple the price for hotels. Like book it in advance. Tell your friend you'll take her for free in 3 weeks and it'll be cheaper, or a month, right? Um, but I'm like, that kind of stress is not the same thing as what I'm doing. That's the easy. But for her, that's very stressful. Jamie, Spirit Airlines is not worth it, in my opinion. I would just.
Okay, yes, it is.
Is it?
Yeah, first class Spirit
Oh my
Airline,
God, bro! It was not worth it.
$163. DTW to Vegas, any day of the week,
No.
365 days a year. Yeah.
Why
I
isn't it worth it? Same with Allegiant and Spirit. You all crack me up with this Allegiant, Spirit, Frontier. All those planes haven't fell out the sky just like the rest of them. I
I
mean, you just
can't
have
I
to pay.
can't do it. I'd rather sell two more items and not be a circus trying to get on the plane.
What do you mean a circus? You get on just like any
No,
other plane.
no, sometimes
Yeah.
they don't come. Like those
That's
airlines,
not,
sometimes they're not reliable. I'm not like it's so cheap, right? That they can't provide a consistent experience.
It's rare though, Chris. That's not a common thing.
I'm
That's not
not I'm not paying $30 less to not know my flight's going to be there or not.
then
Whenever
it's
I go to
not
the
thirty
airport,
dollars.
all the people that are stranded, it's all Allegiant, Spirit Airlines.
I've never found that to be the case. And it's not just $30 because I'm always flying to Vegas or Phoenix and stuff.
Okay.
So it's not always that's that millionaire talking right now.
No, I'm just thinking to myself, why can't you sell more items and get the life that you want? I must be screwed up in the head. I
I'm
just
kind of
like
scared.
there's things that you want, like for me, a reliable flight somewhere. I don't fly that often. I don't want to risk my plane not being there. It's happened to me twice. I
On what
decided
airline?
Spirit Airlines.
Okay, and it hasn't happened on Delta. I mean, that happened when I was
Never.
going to Hawaii, and I was flying American Airlines.
The only
So,
it did happen with me one time with Southwest, which is also a budget airline. During that fiasco when every single airline was closed during the winter, 2 winters ago, they paid for our rental car to drive home. But normally, no. I just think it's not worth. It's like to me, it's not worth it if you're gonna make a screwdriver to get Tampico instead of orange juice. Why?
and to me, it's not worth it to pay 100 and 200 more dollars just to sit and give me what one more foot of space and just have to wait a few more minutes.
I got you. No, I can feel you there. I feel like at least with the way I'm flying, it's usually about $30 more. Um, but I understand it just there's certain things that I feel like the whole point of doing this is to design the life that you want. And I think most people they need to figure out the the
The
sourcing plan that
destination.
produces the items that they need. That's got
The
to be like
destination.
go ahead.
I'm gonna let you go on this. The destination is my cherry on top. I don't care how I get there, as long as that plane don't fall out the sky.
Okay, isn't okay. This is such an interesting topic. I care how I get there. Not like I need to be lavish, but like I don't want it to be like
If you get
when
there on time, why do you care?
it because it's harder. Like I
In what
understand
respect?
that, like I don't know. There's just different parts to it, and I just think that's not worth it.
Okay, well, here's a different perspective. If you plan ahead long enough, then you can get a lower rate on a nicer airline, and then you don't have to worry as much about it. You get the comfort that you want. But like I have a sister whose husband is a pilot, and they don't buy their plane tickets till last minute. And there have been several times when they get to the airport, so they're paying top dollar,
Yeah.
get to the airport, and somehow my brother-in-law did something wrong in ordering the tickets, and then they have to buy a whole nother set of tickets because the tickets didn't go through, or they couldn't get on the plane, or they planned a trip to Ireland and ended up not going because they screwed up their own tickets.
Oh,
I don't get that. Why not just like with our business? Why not just plan everything ahead so it's just easier and
yeah.
you can get on the
That's
plane you want.
so. This is another thing, Catherine. Before I moved into my warehouse, I already planned the layout, right? And right now, it's only a little bit different. When I say change, I mean like this moves to the right 4 inches. The I think that planning, like obviously, if you have an hour and you spend the first 45 minutes sharpening the saw, it really does make a huge difference. Like I think that most of my business right now is planning. And if you do, it's easier to say because I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. When you're paycheck to paycheck, I feel like people make really bad decisions.
Well, they have a lot of money.
What do you
So
mean?
I think for them, it's just like, well, whatever. We'll just buy tickets for everybody again.
Oh, I see.
I just don't understand that. Like, well, how do you plan
Well,
a trip to Ireland
maybe
and then
they
you can't go?
maybe they planned to save money in other places in their life or make more.
No,
No?
they're really stupid with money. They're just really stupid with money. I love them to death, but I could never travel with them. Somebody would be dead. And it wouldn't be me.
I'm trying to figure out the yeah, I'm yesterday I made a new place in circle for the improvement journal, which is what I'm gonna have people I'm gonna work on it today and tomorrow. And also we're working on coaching systems that Carrie's gonna start. So let me know if you guys have any input on that, but I'm gonna work on that tomorrow and see if we can make it a little more streamlined. Because I think that maybe people need a little bit more help in a little bit more help in figuring out what a tiny improvement is to get on that train. Um, but I'm gonna go play with the kids. Everyone have a wonderful day. And kids is harder than running a business, in my opinion. Maybe more rewarding, but man, so unpredictable. Bye, guys.